welcome to Out of Britain. I'm coming to you from the streets of Luton in Bedfordshire in England. This is one of the most poverty-struck areas of the United Kingdom. It is shocking to know that a country as wealthy as the United Kingdom has these levels of poverty. But on Out of Britain, we are bringing you a story of compassion being brought together by a group of Indian origin people. They come here every Tuesday, rain, freezing weather, cold or shine or summer. At 6 o'clock, when the Tower Centre says it's 6 o'clock, invariably I saw people beginning to queue up even before this marquee was set up. This, like I said, is the story of Go Dharmic. The caption says, "Love all, feed all." Food for Indian culture is the first sign of security. And so when you say you love someone, feeding someone comes naturally to you. This is an organization that has been doing food service for the last 15 years, and Luton being one of the most deprived areas in the United Kingdom, with a mixed population of various races, colors, backgrounds, etc., this service becomes that much more relevant. Hanuman Dass, who leads this very compassionate movement, and I love how you call it "love all, feed all."
Yeah, most people love that first message of love all, feed all more than anything, and I think it's probably more powerful than even the food distribution that we do. That thing that when they see that sign, love all, feed all, it just opens us up in a wider way.
Is it easy to love all at a time when crime is increasing, people are becoming increasingly exclusive, introverts, they want to protect themselves, save money. There's a lot of division, unfortunately. And then there is poverty, unfortunately, in the United Kingdom. Does it come easy to love all?
See, I think that's a very profound question. We're living in an age of divisiveness and difficulty and political left-wing and right-wing, and everybody's trying to do something to separate one another, where you're from or what your religion is or what your background. But, I've been deeply inspired by Dharma and the traditions of India and the words of Neem Karoli Baba, where he said, "Sab ek," we are all one. And so this is what we do. Love everyone, serve everyone, feed everyone. And I think that is the message of India, that universal message of love. And so it's very easy.
It's very easy, says Hanuman Das. Turn around so we can get to see your visor which says Go Dharmic. That's Go Dharmic, and that's the name of the charity, which is 15 years old now?
That's correct. We've been working for 15 years.
Tell me about day 1, day 2, day 10. What was it like?
So I was working as a trader in financial markets and in London. And knowing Ram Dass, knowing Neem Karoli, I felt a desire to want to go out and serve people. And
Sorry, who's Nam Das?
Ram Dass was a Harvard professor of psychology who came in touch with a guru in India called Neem Karoli Baba. And he said, if you want to become enlightened, serve people, feed the poor, help others. And so this path of service, of karma yoga, just like Hanumanji, is service that we try to emulate.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I'm not going to be able to show you the faces of the people who need this help, but it's really heartbreaking to see that a wealthy nation such as the UK needs people to be fed. But food is such an important sign of security, of love, of compassion. And for us, it's easy to say, come, share a meal, because we're so blessed. We come from India, and that is the culture. A lot of South Asian families share a meal, and that's their way of compassion. So tell me about you deciding to do this at this scale. In numbers, Oma, your colleague, was sharing with me that you've been around for 15 years as this Indian charity. Here in Luton alone, you've been here for 6 years. Yeah. So in numbers, how many millions of meals have you put in front of people's faces?
So globally, the community has distributed more than 25 million meals. That's in disasters, low-income areas, vulnerable families, the homeless, wherever they're working. In the UK, there's 15 locations where we operate, from London to Glasgow, and they're largely volunteer-driven, largely driven from love. And the one thing I would share is that it doesn't take much. You just have to have that good intention and want to do something. In the UK, I believe that we don't have a food poverty problem. We have a compassion problem because 40% of the food in this country goes in the bin.
Yes.
So if we're allowing that food to go in the bin, then that means that we don't care enough to distribute it to those in need. So children go to school hungry. No, we shouldn't allow that.
Yeah.
There is enough food for everyone if we care.
Yeah.
I think Mahatma Gandhi's words where there is enough for every man's need, but not enough for a single man's greed, ring true, and is something that we can all think about.
Of course. And he also said, give food to a hungry man and your God to him. And clearly what you're doing is truly impactful. Thank you so much for that. And because you said you wanted to continue, did you say you have a friend who you tied up with to do this? And walk us through.
Sure.
Hanuman, tell us how you do this.
So
He want to bring some food so we can bring the food or what he himself prepared at home.
okay.
We talk with him. Sure. He's amazing.
Coordination happening of how to distribute the food. But this is a bunch of volunteers. They're all volunteers, professionals who finish their day job and are here now in the evening in the cold instead of catching their cup of tea and spending time watching that Netflix series. Here are people who are sharing love, who are sharing food. And Hanuman is back with us.
yeah.
So you were coordinating some food stuff, but tell us about the how you do it.
So this is my friend Ravi.
Hi, Ravi.
He has a restaurant called Papa J's, and from a young age he's been supporting the charity. From a young time we've been friends.
So you two are friends?
The charity.
Yes, these were college friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
We known each other for a long time, played cricket together.
Yeah.
And I have a restaurant here, so Hanuman asked, why don't you help? And I sounds like a great idea because we're local business people. It's very nice to give back, help the community.
Yeah.
We've also been here a long time, and this has gone from strength to strength, and we're just proud to be a part of it.
So how do you do this? So you saw that the demand was increasing, and I'm not sure. I'd love to show the queue, but how do we do this? I'm going to throw the challenge to Lakshman, who's helping us with the camera work today. Thank you for that. Try and not show faces, but if you can show the queue. So you got the demand increased, and then you said, let me knock a friend's door and see if I can get some more food.
Absolutely. So Papa J's, local restaurant which my friend was running, said, look, we are doing food distribution. Would you like to contribute and give some support to that? And, he willingly did. And I would say even during the most difficult times, during COVID, when every restaurant was struggling, Ravi has never said that food distribution will stop. So from the moment it started, every week we've been serving in this location and others together. And it's just a great example that if the government, as well as private businesses, as well as volunteers, all come together, we can make sure that nobody goes hungry. Today, more than 250 people will receive food enough to last them for 3 or 4 days, so that their children, their families can receive food and not go hungry.
Brilliant. Why would you not want to be a part of that?
Yeah, sure.
Just brilliant. So nice to give back. Look how cold it is.
Yes, it is.
Imagine
It's
people
freezing.
sleeping outside, having a tough time. We obviously don't do that, so it's very nice to give back and help people.
Well done, you guys. Really. My question is, where does this? It's amazing that this is increasing. You're doing it in several locations, all the way from England to Glasgow, which is in Scotland. Why Go Dharmic? That's my first question. Why did you call it that? And I'm curious, is it a right-wing organization or are you apolitical? These are some questions people will ask.
Yeah.
Or are you just really about humanity and so why the name? That's the first question. And second is, what's tomorrow looking like?
So the first question is something that I have to answer quite often, and it's quite sad because, Dharma is not something that's exclusivist or hidden for any one person. And, in the world we live, which is largely using Western terminology and, heavy impact of colonialism over the last 200 years, anything that's kind of using a different language or a different term is considered exclusivist or cultural or significant, whereas Dharma is for every living being. So if the Dharma of sugar is to be sweet, the Dharma of humanity is to be humane, to be kind, and to be loving towards others. So, we should be proud of that thing and actually speak up for ahimsa and Dharma and all of these beautiful messages of love that we have to share with the world. What's next is, I just hope that this spreads like a wildfire, and wherever we can serve, people come forward. So tomorrow there's a food distribution launching in Oxford for the first time. We have food distribution launching that's been ongoing in the LA wildfires, supporting people suffering from the impacts of climate change. There is food distribution for the last 45 days in the Kumbh Mela, where more than 6,000 meals a day are being distributed by volunteers there.
So LA, India, here in the UK. Okay, on you go.
Across the US as well. There are many places. And we've been present at more than 180 disasters. So whether that's the Ukraine war, or Turkey and Syria earthquake, or when there's crises in India, earthquakes and so on, we try to be present and help those in need. So then what's next when you say my real goal is that any disaster that takes place in India, a Go Dharmic team should go and serve people, whether that's a flood or an earthquake or a natural disaster, and then we expand that to other places in the world.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you really for doing this. I'm going to take a short break now, but just after this break, I'm going to be speaking to volunteers who are professionals and who could have been home and watching Netflix, but they're here in the cold serving food, which truly is just so inspiring. This is an Indian organization inspired by India's culture of giving. They call themselves Go Dharmic. Hanuman Dass, who leads this team, has been speaking to us about the journey. We've got day one, we've got what tomorrow is going to look like, and I'm going to show you just after this break what today is looking like here in Luton. Inspired by Indian way of life is this British-born charity Go Dharmic, which has served over 25 million meals across the globe. And I'm coming to you from one of their feeding centers. It's a cold winter evening, like I said, almost freezing. Hi, Lakshman, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Very cold tonight, but we're out here serving still.
With your warm hearts?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, how long have you been doing this?
So I've just started working about 3 months ago now. I'm the operations manager for the UK. So my role entails basically behind the scenes taking care of all of these distributions that we talked about. 15 distributions currently active in the UK. And all of these distributions, it's all run by volunteers. You've got to have that person in the background, who's giving the support and shipping supplies over, and also just driving with fundraising.
As you talk, let's take the camera to show you this act of compassion. What are you serving today?
Yeah, this is veg rice with dal.
Veg rice and dal. Hi, what's your name?
Kamu.
Kamu.
No, Kamal.
Kamal.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you guys been doing this?
It's first I came here last month, so yeah, volunteer.
For 1 month you've been
okay. Helping for Go Dharmic.
What do you do to pay your bills?
To pay my bills, I work actually. So with that, I'm paying.
So you have a day job and in the evening you come here.
Yeah.
What about you?
Working professionals.
Volunteering myself to ensure that I get a peace of mind by serving others and making myself more relaxed.
What does peace of mind feel like?
Peace of mind is involving ourselves in the volunteering service to ensure that.
No, tell me when you have peace of mind, how are you? What does it feel like? Do you feel kind? What do you feel?
Yeah, I feel very cool, chill, happy, and ensuring that I'm serving to everyone. That makes me more happy.
Okay, so you remember the fact that you were able to help someone. Okay, great. Tell me some story, Lakshman, of something that you heard of. Maybe someone who received help through Go Dharmic or a volunteer. Tell me some story.
I would actually love to highlight, we spoke earlier about the fact that this food here, the hot food, is donated by Papa J's, just around the corner.
Yes.
And we recently connected with a guy in there. Yeah, there was a beautiful guy who just started working for Papa J's, who serves our food here. And he actually got his job through Go Dharmic because he started.
So he was volunteering?
He was starting to volunteer with Go Dharmic here at the distribution. And then he got handpicked by Papa J's for his service. And he was quite new to the UK. I think he was a student. So he actually got his job through the work of Go Dharmic. So it's amazing, the amazing networking opportunities that come from this, like these volunteers. All the work they're doing is life experience, and it's like that they can serve people, love people based on these values and just doing this amazing work for the world. It's really food for the soul. It really is.
Anybody here happy to talk to us? Any volunteers while you're very busy? Let's talk to Kamal. What do you do, Kamal? Hi, what do you do?
Well, for what?
Yes.
Self-employed.
Are you self-employed?
Yeah.
And what about you?
Yeah, me too.
Self-employed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Professional.
And then in the evenings you do this.
Come here, yeah. Usually comes evenings and serving people. It's a good for us, huh?
So you feel nice?
Yes. Serving food is always good.
Says who? Your mum? Your grandmom?
No, I'm alone here now.
Yeah.
My
But
family.
this concept of serving food.
Okay.
What does it? What does it? Yeah. Who do you remember? Tell me a name or a face.
Always
Family.
Grandma,
Grandma.
mom,
Yeah.
aunties.
Yeah. Do you guys cook as well?
Yes.
Not much, no.
You can come one day. We will prepare for
I'm
you.
getting free food. Okay, thank you. Thank you for doing this. These are professionals, right? These are working professionals. They have bills to pay. They have work to do, and they have fatigue by the end of the working day. But it doesn't stop them. It doesn't stop them. So there's bread being rolled out. This is a vegan charity, remember? So it's based on the principles of non-violence. So the food is fully vegetarian, in fact, vegan. This food comes with the help of a local restaurant. But this is a movement which is quite global. Hanuman is back. So this is a global movement.
Well, I like to think of it as one act of kindness at a time.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to think too big. We are here right now,
Yeah.
and feeding a single child is feeding the entire universe. So, having young people, old people come together,
Yeah.
serve one another. It's like, should be like the left hand feeding the right hand. We're all one and, serving each other.
Excellent. The question is, Hanuman, with a lot of Indian charities, people of Indian origin, offering food, offering different services in a country such as the United Kingdom, does it say something of the impact that the Indians or Indian origin people or people inspired by Indian way of life are making in a country such as the UK?
So these ideas are so profound
Yeah.
and so relevant and so important for us to transcend this individual differences. We see so much, as we spoke about earlier, separation in the world.
Yeah.
This is oneness. So this is practicing oneness. Whether there's a food poverty or not, there is a huge poverty in the UK and other parts of the world. But this transcends that. This allows us to come into a space where we are all one and we enjoy that and we feel happy about that and positive, and it makes us feel good as well as helps others. So, somebody could be going for a very difficult moment in their life, and that single act of compassion and kindness in that single moment could actually change the trajectory of their day or their life going forward. So I think this is something that we all can do for a little few minutes every week. And if we can't come out and do food distribution, then we can maybe give a gift to our neighbor or feed somebody close to us, a school friend or a colleague or somebody we haven't spoken to for a long time. And if we can't do that, then at least we shouldn't hurt someone. We should just be neutral and not harm anyone. So this is ahimsa is not a negative force; it's actually a positive force.
That's the most human thing I've heard today. Facts. You said there's a lot that goes to the landfill, which we know. In fact, you said we have enough food in the UK. I think we have enough food in the world. Research says we have enough food in the world. If only we knew how to break bread, if we knew how to share food, and if we knew how not to waste. So tell me about the redistribution, repurposing of food which otherwise would go to landfill. Is that something that you're actively working in that space as well? Not just here, but in any of your locations globally?
Sure. So we work with supermarkets and restaurant providers around the world to collect food waste and redistribute that food waste. And our volunteers go out at various different times to collect up and down the country. They'll be doing that to make sure that any food that is destined for landfill could be redistributed to people in need. Secondly, because we're a vegan organization, we want to distribute food that is the least violent. I think that is also a huge waste with animal agriculture in the world, filling up the oceans and the rivers with waste, and so much of what is grown, plant-based produce, is used for feeding animals instead of feeding people.
Yeah.
So we're eating that, growing an animal for many years and then using that instead. We could just grow plants and feed people.
Yeah.
And that is one of the strong messages. We want to stand for that non-violence.
Yeah, okay. So being also sustainable while you do this. I see that the queue hasn't stopped yet. It's been a few minutes, more than half an hour we've been speaking. And in fact, the clock was ticking 6 when we started. It's about 45 minutes. Now, how many meals do you think went out today?
In terms of meals, we measure it in a way that DEFRA, the Department of Food and Agriculture, would. 350 grams is a meal. So when we weigh and measure all of the food that goes out, it's probably over 1,500 meals distributed tonight, but probably 250 beneficiaries here in the town are benefiting.
Has there been a time, any Monday or one of your Tuesday servings in London, when at the end of your food basket somebody's standing and you're running out of food? Has it happened?
So we always keep a secret stash and some food, whether it's biscuits or whether it's kind of some snacks or some fruit, some bananas or something in the vans, so that, you know, if that instance does come when we're packing up, we still have some prasad left for everyone who's there.
Excellent. Okay, last question, and I keep saying this each time I ask you a question, but sorry, last question. How big is your group, your gang, these champions of compassion?
So we operate via an app, the Go Dharmic app, which anybody who's listening, please could download and join us, and they can start serving wherever they are. We have 10,000 volunteers globally that are involved, and we also operate via 300 local groups, so that they all self-organize and come together out of love to serve people, and it just keeps going. It's been the greatest blessing of my life.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Thank you. So are you saying that someone watching this in Southampton, for example, has seen this, has gone to your app and has decided that from their house they're just going to cook khichdi, and just one person does this from their home? How do they get associated with Go Dharmic?
Absolutely. Downloading the Go Dharmic app is the first thing they can do. They can get in touch with us, and people can give some time. They can give their talent or their skills, just like you're doing, to help spread the message today. Or they can give some treasure or a small donation that can make a difference. We don't distribute home-cooked food. We have it produced in hygiene-rated kitchens and proper locations. So the cooking takes place in temples or in a restaurant or a location where they have a food license to produce food. And then we just distribute the food.
Excellent. Okay, I hope you keep growing to many, many thousands. And I hope someday charities such as this, which distribute food, become redundant, really. Because hopefully we'll have enough food and we'll all be responsible citizens to be able to share food. But until then, keep going, and thank you for being so compassionate and human.
Thank you so much. I think that there will always be a need for dharma if there's not a need for food.
Sure.
So when the food is done, maybe it's other things that
Another
we can
act
help
of
serve with,
compassion.
and just keep going.
Indeed, indeed. Keep going. And thank you so much to all you volunteers, guys.
You're
Keep
welcome.
going.
Thank you so much.
Thanks ever so much. So, well, what can I say? This is just so heartwarming. It is a cold afternoon, but I'm warm in my heart. I feel so blessed that I've come here. It's such a lovely gesture of being human, of just being generous, being human, sharing a minute of your day to think that someone may be suffering and let me do something for them has become so rare, unfortunately, in our world, that the more there are stories of compassion such as this one, the more inspired you feel that there is hope, there is happiness, and there is a way of life that can be so inspiring that we can learn from, share with others. Radhika Iyer signing off from Luton in Bedfordshire in England for NDTV on Out of Bridge.